Raymond Chandler's nephew was 13 years old back in 1993 when he accused Michael Jackson of molesting him. The case was settled for millions of dollars. Mr. Chandler, good morning. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
So your nephew was 13 years old. The case, as I mentioned, never went to court. It was settled. Some reports estimate that $15 million were paid to your nephew, millions more to his parents, a total perhaps as much as $25 million. Those facts fairly accurate in your opinion?
I think so, yes.
Do you think the facts of that previous case and the settlement of that previous case should be admitted into the current trial?
Well, I think some of the facts should be, of course, it's up to the judge, but there was some very damaging evidence. That, of course, is the reason why Michael Jackson settled. He likes to claim that, he just wanted to get on with his life, but as I detailed in my book, piece by piece, evidence by evidence, there was a mountain of evidence which finally made him give up.
So if your nephew were to testify in the current trial, how damaging, in your opinion, would his words be?
Well, let me just say here today that my nephew's not going to testify.
Well, let's talk about that, because we had heard reports that he did not want to testify, but we had not heard any definitive statement on that.
Well, this is a definitive statement. He's not showing up. He's out of the country where he cannot be found. He doesn't want to be the Michael Jackson boy. He doesn't want any involvement.
So even if he's subpoenaed by the prosecution, he will not return to this country to testify?
That's whether the prosecution subpoenas him or not. I don't know, but I can tell you he's not going to show up this trial.
What are his reasons?
He's just sick of it. He's sick. Actually, it's the media, to be honest with you. He's hounded by the media. He's had to move several times because of being the Michael Jackson kid. He just doesn't want to be the Michael Jackson kid anymore.
How do you feel about that decision?
I don't like it. I think his testimony would be crucial to this case.
Have you spoken to him directly about it?
No, I have not.
His parents, I would imagine, have been in constant contact with him. How do they feel about it? How does his mother feel about it?
I don't know how his mother feels about it. I can tell you that I'm pretty sure his mother's going to be called to testify and will be giving some very damaging evidence.
What would she say?
Well, she's going to be able to place her son alone in the bedroom with Michael Jackson at about conservatively 50 or 60 nights. So this is not just an impromptu sleepover. This is a relationship in her own home for 30 nights, in Michael Jackson's apartment in Los Angeles, at Neverland, in hotels in Las Vegas, New York, Paris, Monaco, every night, night after night, alone in the bedroom. So that's going to be very damaging.
Alone in a bedroom, spending time together, did she ever witness any sexual act between Michael Jackson and her son?
To my knowledge, no.
I'm curious, your nephew, and you say you haven't spoken to him about this, does he, I guess in no way he doesn't feel any obligation to testify, even considering that perhaps it might prevent future victims?
I think it was probably a very tough decision for him to weigh both sides, but obviously the side that he doesn't want to be involved and he doesn't want to be the Michael Jackson boy, have his picture taken, or he just wants to move on with his life.
Does he feel any guilt about his decision, and the family, do they feel any guilt about their decision back in 1993, that perhaps had they testified in a criminal investigation or trial then, that this current case could have been avoided?
Well, the decision was not really his at the time because he was a child. It was a family's decision, a parent's decision. But actually, that's one of the biggest myths that's stuck around for 12 years, that they refused to testify at a criminal trial. Actually, they agreed to testify at a criminal trial, provided that be given witness protection. The death threats were so serious, animals with their heads cut off left at the door, telephone threats coming in, people trying to get into the house, into the place of business, bomb threats. Last year, a spokesperson for the LADA's office confirmed that, in fact, that request was made and was denied. Had it been approved and they got protection, the criminal trial would have gone forward.
As you know, Michael Jackson's side in this says that these cases are all about money. People trying to get money from Michael Jackson.
Right.
By now, not agreeing or refusing to participate in this current trial, do you think your nephew risks that allegation cropping up again, that he was willing to settle out of court for money and not willing to go to the criminal process?
Right. Of course he risks that allegation, and that's one of the reasons I'd like him to testify, and obviously to prevent other boys from spending the night alone with Michael Jackson. I think that's the most important thing. Obviously my nephew has his own concerns, and they're a priority to him.
But again, let's just make sure we understand the headline that comes out of this interview is that you are guaranteeing that your nephew, the alleged victim in the 1993 sexual molestation case against Michael Jackson, will refuse to testify in the current criminal trial.
That's what I'm saying. Barring some sort of epiphany on his part, or he has a revelation that maybe he's wrong and should change his mind. But yes, that's
and he's not in the country at this point. Were the prosecutors to try to reach him?
No, he's not.
Raymond Chandler. Mr. Chandler, thanks very much.